are the great American actors and comedians. That your hero is definitely not of this world. Wait, let me do the version of Gypsy. I want to do the complete text. Well, I'll play Gypsy and all the other parts too.
The man I idolized starring too turns out to be a raving loon.
Ouch. And now, my lady, Gillette. Under you, he's going to see them. Of course, that's on the voyage, to find love. Guys, the guns over now with your imagination. That's why pleasure and science fiction.
I'm not the one with the green of sex fantasy.
Oh, my. Did you see the way that she was treating you? I apologize. I just met the most fantastic female, Claire. When Spock was affected by the spores and fell in love with Leela Colombi, he was happy too. But Kurt, come on. They didn't resist. Never.
And Rob, I don't know.
Okay, well, I want to before we go on, I actually want to take issue with something that Scott said as he was introducing the film. You mentioned the Big Bang Theory. And let me tell you what's special about Free Enterprise, and we saw it up on that screen. Free Enterprise was the first time, and I think the only time, that geeks like us have been presented as real people. Not caricatures, real people with real problems. Trying to meet girls, trying to make movies, trying to make friends with William Shatner, trying to pay our bills. Pay our bills. It's a story about real people. It's a story about boys growing up. And I guess the show is really about how that process failed completely.
Well, I want to say, first of all, obviously this is not Meyer, Burnett. This is the wonderfully talented and game Ashley Miller. Ashley, of course, is a great example of the kind of people we see on screen. He started as a fan, worked at JPL, right?
Actually, the Navy.
I'm sorry, the Navy. And subsequently went on to write movies like Thor, X-Men, First Class, worked on Fringe, and now he's developing the new Terminator TV series and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with Roberto Orci. So, you know, he epitomizes, I think, a lot of what Free Enterprise was about. And I'm glad he stepped in for Rob. Rob, unfortunately, couldn't be here. He's stuck in LA on a project, and he sends his love and a shot of Jameson. Very small shot. Kept the rest for himself. But I know he'd like to be here, and we're sorry he can't. This is a very special film to him, and obviously a very special film to me. But in keeping with the Kickstarter, you know, a lot of people have asked me, you know, why you guys, you know, for your TV shows, for your movies, why would you be turning to Kickstarter? And I said, you know, when we first tried to finance Free Enterprise, we took a lot of really stupid meetings. We go and say, oh, you know, I don't get this. I don't get this. You know, what? You guys have girlfriends? They're idiots. Why would they have girlfriends? And they'd be like, what if they, like, kidnap William Shatner and force him to make an episode? Wouldn't that be funny? And it's like, no, not really. So we found people who were kindred spirits, and what we realized with the TV show is it wasn't going to become something completely different than what the movie was, and we needed to turn to our people, the people that love Free Enterprise and believe in Free Enterprise and got Free Enterprise, to show Hollywood what a Free Enterprise TV show would be. So that's why we're doing it on Kickstarter, and that's why whether you can give $1 or $100 or whatever, or just tweet about it. Maybe you can't give anything, but just reach out to friends and colleagues and, you know, on Facebook, and let them know that this exists. For the next 30 days, we'll be trying to raise money to shoot a pilot. And in keeping with that, I want to bring our director, David Rogers, and Free Enterprise superfan. I don't want this to turn into a commercial for our Free Enterprise TV series. But David is a huge fan, so I want to go back and sort of maybe we can talk about the movie. But just, if you do love the movie, I hope you'll consider at least checking out the Kickstarter page and seeing what we're doing. Because I think the show could be super cool, and it would bring Free Enterprise into your home on a weekly basis, which would be great. Because, you know, we've tried...
just like living with Rob.
Okay, that is not a selling point.
I want to go back to it because I want to know what it was like. And I want to know the very first review you read for Free Enterprise. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I do actually. It was the LA Times, and it was like a rave review. That's when I said, this movie's gonna be a huge hit. Boy, was I wrong. You know, and the New York Times was a really good review. Newsday was a good review. You know, we got a couple of bad reviews, Self-Indulgent, another Gen Y angst bullshit movie, you know, another wannabe swingers movie. But most of the reviews were really positive, and the ones that were, I know Variety gave it, Leah Lowenstein, I still remember her name, gave it a phenomenal review, which was really great. My mother was so excited. So yeah, I you know, that was a really nice part of it, and you know, we did win a lot of awards. We were on the festival circuit with this for a while before we got distribution, and we were, you know, picking up awards left and right, which, you know, that in token will get me on the subway, but it was nice. It was, you know, certainly good for your ego, and it helped get distribution. You know, just the fact that we were getting, you know, all this attention, and it's funny, in retrospect, there are a couple of major film festivals that we didn't get into at the time that subsequently have become huge fans and said, oh God, I wish we'd put this in Toronto, or oh God, I wish we'd done this in Sundance. Like, oh yeah, thanks a lot. I wish it doesn't do me any good now, but it was a really great experience. You know, we went to Cannes with Bill Shatner, the first time he was ever at the Cannes Film Festival, and he gave that bomber jacket that he wore in the movie to Planet Hollywood Cannes, and I'll never forget, he got on stage and he told this long story about how I was at a thrift store and I saw this jacket and it belonged to the World War II flying Eddie Rickenbacker and blah, blah, blah. And he's going on and now it made its way from, the battlefield of Germany to America, Khrushchev, now here at Planet Hollywood Cannes. And we were riveted. I mean, just riveted. And he walked up the stage to applause. The world press is there. All these fans are going crazy. And we're like, Bill, we had no idea. He goes, what are you talking about? I just made that story up. Oh my God. And that's Bill Shatner in a nutshell. I mean, he is one of, what's the line from Of All the Stars and all, there's only one of you, don't destroy the one named James Byrne. He is one in a gazillion,
And all that, and perhaps more. Don't destroy the one named Kirk.
Thank you, Scott. But yeah, that was pretty. The Cannes thing was pretty incredible. All different places.
Well, I gotta tell you a funny story. So another story, another girl. Okay. So my wife, Andrea, she's awesome. She lets me be a treasure. She's cool with it. She accepts it. She doesn't judge me. So about 3 years ago, I said, honey, you have to watch this movie. She said, what's it called? I said, it's called Free Enterprise. Blake Shatner's in it. She goes, oh, of course you wanted to watch it. I said, no. If you ever wanted to get me and get my people, watch this movie. You start watching the film. True story. Start watching the film. She points to Rayford. Points to Rayford, Robert in the film. Points and says, I went out with that guy. Oh. And I went, I'm sitting there going, I can't watch this movie anymore. I said, when did you go out with him? She said, 1998. I said, that's when they made this movie!
So you're kind of vicariously on Robert Burnett's sexual tree.
I don't like it. How many times did you go out with him? And she goes, 4 times. I said, oh, thank God. I said, wait, 4 times? 4, because the 3rd time. She goes, no, we did not have sex. I'm like, okay, we can keep watching the movie now. But what I want to know, more important than the reviews, because obviously it's great to have that visitation, that validation. As filmmakers, that you made a great film. But the vindication from people who saw it, the reaction from the fans. When did you start to get that feedback, that immediate feedback, face-to-face, emails, I don't know, phone calls, whatever?
It was great because we had people that weren't Star Trek fans who were coming out to us after screenings or gone to see it who loved it. That was great because oh wow, okay, we thought this might be a film that only appeals to genre fans or geeks, and it wasn't the case. I remember hearing from the usher at the Century Plaza Theater that's no longer there, it was torn down. So, Leonard Nimoy was in the other day to see this, and I was like, that was super cool, right? And it was like, oh, really? But then, over time, people started coming up to us and telling us how much the film meant to us, and it happened today. And it means so much to us that that's the case when, film is now such a disposable medium. And when you have a movie that's 15 years old that touches people the way that it does, and I had a guy come up to me last year at Starship Smackdown and said, listen, I was in a really bad place in my life, and this film was the only movie that kept me sane, and it changed my life, and I changed the way I was and what I was doing, and I really straightened out my life, and I could be dead right now if I hadn't been this movie. And it was really very meaningful. But even somebody who just says, look, I live in a town and no one understood me, and I thought I was weird, and then I saw this movie and I saw there were all these other people like this, and I never get tired of hearing those stories. That's what you want when you create art, whatever it is. I don't know if it's art, but it's more like finger painting. But it means a lot when people can tell us how impactful this film was. I mean, because, you know, it was important to me. I mean, it was not only my first film, but, you know, I mean, I grew up watching, you know, William Shatner on television. You know, I stood in line as a 7-year-old to get Leonard Nimoy's autograph at the King's Plaza Mall at Macy's, you know. So to be sitting on set making my first movie with Bill Shatner was really an incredible experience. And, you know, the funny thing is, there's no one who would rather do a sequel more than Bill Shatner. Because I gave up.